Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare $quarter coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we have a truly exciting discovery to share with you. A coin that not only celebrates a significant moment in American history but could also be worth more than you'd expect. We're talking about the United States 2021 $quarter, featuring the iconic, crossing the Delaware, design. This stunning coin, commemorating one of the most famous events in U.S. history, has captured the attention of collectors and investors alike. So, let's dive into the story behind this remarkable coin and, of course, the incredible value it could hold. The 2021 $quarter is part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, which was launched in 2010 by the U.S. Mint. This program aims to showcase the nation's beautiful and historical landmarks, national parks, and events through the design of quarters. Each year, a new set of quarters is released, and the 2021 series is particularly noteworthy. One of the standout designs in this series features the image of General George Washington's daring and legendary crossing of the Delaware River during the American Revolution in 1776. This event is one of the most iconic moments in U.S. history. Washington's bold and strategic move to cross the icy Delaware River on Christmas night marked a turning point in the Revolutionary War. The design on the quarter beautifully captures the moment, showing Washington standing tall in a rowboat, leading his troops across the treacherous waters, with the American flag waving proudly in the wind. This artwork not only represents a moment of bravery and leadership but also highlights the perseverance and resilience that led to the birth of a nation. The design itself is a testament to the power of art and history coming together in a single, small piece of currency. On the obverse side of the coin, as with all U.S. quarters, you'll find the portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. It's this combination of timeless historical reference and commemorative artwork that makes the 2021 $quarter so appealing to collectors. But what makes this particular coin so valuable? Well, there are several factors at play here. First, the rarity. While millions of these quarters were minted, certain versions, especially those in pristine, uncirculated condition, are much harder to find. Coins that are in excellent shape, without any signs of wear, scuffing, or damage, are much more desirable to collectors. And when it comes to limited edition coins or those with unique minting errors, the value can skyrocket. Collectors are always searching for the highest quality coins. Whether it's a special variant, a misprint, or simply a coin that has been carefully preserved over time, the condition plays a huge role in determining its worth. As more collectors discover the significance of the 2021 crossing the Delaware quarter, the demand for uncirculated or high-grade coins will only continue to grow. Another element that adds value to this coin is the symbolism behind it. The crossing the Delaware design is rich in American heritage, celebrating not just a military victory but a moment that helped shape the nation. For collectors who appreciate historical coins, this one is particularly special. It's not just a piece of currency, it's a reminder of the sacrifices made for freedom and independence. Now, let's get to the exciting part, the value. If you happen to have a 2021 crossing the Delaware quarter in excellent, uncirculated condition, or perhaps even one with a minting error, it could be worth quite a bit more than face value. Depending on its condition, demand, and unique features, this quarter could fetch an impressive $63,000. That's right, $63,000 for a single quarter. It's truly incredible how much a small coin like this can be worth, but it's a perfect example of how rarity, historical significance, and condition can combine to create a valuable treasure. So, if you've been holding on to any of these 2021 crossing the Delaware quarters or happen to find one in your pocket change, it might be time to check its condition and see if you have a hidden gem on your hands. Top 2. We have a real treat for you. We're diving into the fascinating world of vintage coins, and more specifically, the 1974 United States $quarter. You might think, it's just a regular quarter, but hold on, because this seemingly ordinary coin could be worth a lot more than you'd expect. Stick around, because by the end of this video, we'll reveal a jaw-dropping value for this 1974 quarter that you won't believe. First, let's set the stage. The 1974 quarter was minted at a time when the United States was undergoing significant changes. The country was transitioning from the 1960s to the 1970s, a period marked by cultural shifts, economic challenges, and political turmoil. The coin itself, featuring the iconic portrait of George Washington, was part of the regular circulation series, but little did people know that a few decades later, this coin would have the potential to make collectors' jaws drop. Now, you might be wondering, what makes the 1974 quarter special? After all, millions were minted and circulated, so it can't be all that rare, right? Well, the key to its value lies in its condition and some unique features that only the most observant collectors look for. While the coin's design is the same as any other quarter from this era, there are a few factors that can elevate its worth. For starters, the 1974 quarter is considered part of the larger set of Washington quarters, which were first minted in 1932 to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday. Over the decades, Washington quarters have become one of the most beloved and collected coins in U.S. history. What makes the 1974 version stand out is that it's part of a transitional period in U.S. coinage. By this time, the U.S. was facing rising inflation, and the economy was shifting towards more modern minting processes. This subtle change in production methods over the years, combined with a few minting quirks, makes certain examples of the 1974 quarter more valuable than others. The main thing collectors look for in this coin is its condition. As with any collectible, the better the quality, the higher the price. A coin in uncirculated, mint condition is incredibly rare. Over time, coins like the 1974 quarter have typically seen wear and tear from daily use. But if you happen to find one that looks as if it just came off the press, free of scratches, discoloration, and any other signs of age, you've stumbled upon a real treasure. These uncirculated or high-grade coins are in much higher demand than their worn counterparts, and that's where the value begins to soar. Another reason the 1974 quarter can be worth more is because of potential minting errors. Yes, errors. During the minting process, it's not uncommon for coins to come out with small mistakes, whether it's a misstrike, incorrect lettering, or a slight variation in the design. While these errors are rare, they add a layer of uniqueness that collectors covet. If you come across a 1974 quarter with a minting error, you might just have an incredibly valuable piece on your hands, but the biggest factor that adds value to this coin is simple rarity. Although the 1974 quarter wasn't produced in limited numbers, over time, many of these coins were lost, worn out, or simply forgotten about. As a result, finding one in excellent condition is becoming increasingly difficult. That's why collectors are constantly on the lookout for well-preserved examples, and if you happen to own one, you could be sitting on a small fortune. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the big reveal. If you have a 1974 quarter in flawless, uncirculated condition, or perhaps one with a rare minting error, it could be worth a staggering sum. How much, you ask? The value could reach as high as $83,000. That's right, $83,000 for a single 1974 quarter. If it's in pristine condition or has a rare error, it's amazing how something so small and seemingly ordinary can hold such immense value, but it just goes to show how much rarity, condition, and historical significance matter in the world of coin collecting. So, the next time you come across a 1974 quarter, take a close look. You never know, you might just have a treasure worth tens of thousands of dollars hiding in your pocket change. Top 3, we're diving into something that might just surprise you, a 1994 United States quarter dollar. It's a coin you've probably seen 100 times, but trust me, there's much more to it than meets the eye. If you think this is just another run-of-the-mill quarter, think again, because this small piece of American currency might be worth a whole lot more than its face value. Stick around, and we'll reveal the jaw-dropping value of this coin towards the end. Let's rewind a bit and set the stage for the 1994 quarter. The U.S. Mint released this coin as part of the Washington Quarter series, which has been circulating since 1932. The design of the 1994 quarter is the same as it had been for decades, George Washington's portrait on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse, but the coin represents something more important, the continuing legacy of the Washington quarter and the transition the U.S. Mint was going through at that time. The 1994 quarter is not part of any special edition or commemorative series, so what makes it stand out in the world of coin collecting? The key factor here is rarity and condition. While the U.S. Mint produced millions of these quarters in 1994, they were made for regular circulation, meaning most of them saw heavy use in daily transactions. If you've ever dropped a quarter in your pocket or purse, you know that over time, it can get scratched, scuffed, or tarnished. That's why the 1994 quarter in mint condition, free of wear and tear, has become a highly sought-after find. The condition of a coin is one of the most important factors in determining its value. If you happen to come across a 1994 quarter that looks like it just came off the press, then you've got yourself a potential treasure, but condition is just one part of the equation. What truly makes this coin valuable are a few subtle but important details that most people don't notice. The 1994 quarter, like all U.S. coins, was produced in different mints, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint mark tells a part of the story, but the rarest of the rare are the quarters that were minted with slight variations, either due to minting errors or unique features that set them apart from the others. Minting errors can include anything from double die errors to misstrikes, where the design is imperfect or shifted. These mistakes might seem small, but for coin collectors, they make the coin truly one of a kind, adding significant value. Additionally, the 1994 quarter falls within a time when certain coins were being preserved with greater care by collectors. As the 1990s unfolded, interest in numismatics, coin collecting, was starting to grow again, and many collectors were more discerning about the coins they kept in their collections. While a lot of these quarters may have been used for everyday purchases, some were carefully stored and preserved in pristine condition, making them highly valuable today. Now, let's talk numbers. When a coin like the 1994 quarter is kept in perfect condition or has a minting error that makes it stand out from the crowd, its value can skyrocket. The demand for these coins, especially among serious collectors, has only increased as time has gone on. So, just how much could this little quarter be worth? Hold on to your seat. If you have a 1994 quarter in uncirculated condition, or better yet, one with a minting error or special feature, it could be worth an incredible $55,000. That's right, $55,000 for a single quarter. It's hard to believe, right? But that's the reality of the coin collecting world. Condition, rarity, and unique features all come together to create a valuable piece of history. So, next time you're sorting through your change, take a close look at those 1994 quarters. You never know, there could be a hidden fortune sitting right in your pocket. Top 4, we've got a real gem to talk about, a coin that might just be hiding in your collection or even your pocket change without you knowing its true worth. I'm talking about the 1979 United States quarter dollar. You might think, a 1979 quarter? That's nothing special, but trust me, you could be in for a big surprise. If you've got one of these, you'll want to stick around because this little coin has some serious potential. Let's take a moment to appreciate the 1979 quarter and the time it comes from. It was minted during a period of both economic stability and change in the U.S. The late 1970s were a time when the country was experiencing both political shifts and economic inflation. The design of the 1979 quarter remained true to the Washington Quarter series, which has been in circulation since 1932, featuring the iconic portrait of George Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. But while these coins were common at the time, not all of them were made with the same level of care and attention that collectors seek today. The key to the value of the 1979 quarter lies in the condition and the rarity of certain varieties. Like many coins from this era, most of the 1979 quarters saw a lot of circulation. People use them for everyday purchases, so finding one in pristine condition is quite rare. But that's what makes the high-quality ones so valuable today. If you happen to find a 1979 quarter that looks like it just came off the mint press, untouched by time, you're holding on to something special. But here's the kicker: the 1979 quarter isn't just valuable because it's in good condition. There are a couple of other important factors that can make it skyrocket in value. First, let's talk about minting errors. While the 1979 quarter was produced in relatively large numbers, some coins left the US Mint with minor defects. These minting errors could include things like misprints, off-center strikes, or even doubling of the design. A coin with one of these rare mistakes could easily become a collector's dream, and that's where the big money comes into play. The 1979 quarter also falls into a group of coins that were minted with varying degrees of care. Over time, the quality of US coinage improved, but there were still certain batches that didn't make the cut. Coins that were part of those lesser batches, with slight imperfections or unusual characteristics, tend to hold more appeal for collectors looking for something unique. Coins from this period that were carefully stored and maintained have also gained value as people recognize how rare they are becoming. If you've got a 1979 quarter sitting around in your collection or even in a jar of old coins, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. You might just be holding a piece of history with a far higher value than you think. And while some 1979 quarters are worth just a few dollars, there are certain examples that can sell for astronomical amounts. So, here's the exciting part. If you happen to have one of these rare 1979 quarters in mint condition, or even one with a minting error that sets it apart from the rest, you could be looking at an incredible windfall. Are you ready for this? Your 1979 quarter could be worth a whopping $68,000, yes, you heard that right, $68,000 for a single coin. It's amazing how much value a well-preserved quarter from 1979 can hold, especially when you factor in rarity, condition, and potential minting errors. So, before you pass off that old change in your pocket, take a moment to inspect it. You could be holding onto a small fortune without even realizing it. Top 5, we've got an exciting topic that might just have you checking your coin collection, and possibly even your loose change. We're going to dive into the world of the 1986 United States quarter dollar. It might seem like a regular, everyday coin, but trust me, there's a lot more to this quarter than meets the eye. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this coin could be worth a small fortune. So, stick with us to uncover the true value of the 1986 quarter. Now, let's take a trip back to 1986. This was a year of significant events in American history. The country was in the midst of the Reagan era, and the economy was experiencing a period of growth. The 1986 quarter was part of the regular circulation at the time, featuring the timeless design of George Washington on the obverse, with an eagle on the reverse. It was a coin like many others, used for everyday transactions, but little did people know, a few decades later, it would become a highly sought-after piece in the coin-collecting world. What makes the 1986 quarter so interesting is that it comes from a time when coin production was at its peak. The US Mint was turning out millions of quarters each year, and most of them were used, spent, and forgotten. However, as time has passed, finding one of these quarters in pristine, uncirculated condition has become increasingly rare. And that's where the real value lies. Coins that were produced for circulation often end up worn down over time, with scratches, dings, and discoloration. But a well-preserved 1986 quarter that has remained in excellent condition can fetch quite a bit of money today. It's all about finding one that hasn't been subjected to the usual wear and tear of daily use. These high-quality coins are extremely valuable because they represent a piece of history that's almost untouched by time, but condition is just one factor. Another key reason why the 1986 quarter holds value is the possibility of minting errors. During the production process, not every coin comes out perfectly. Sometimes, there are small mistakes, like off-center strikes, double dies, or misprints. These minting errors are what make certain coins stand out. For collectors, these variations can turn a regular coin into something much more valuable, and the rarer the error, the higher the value. If you happen to find a 1986 quarter with one of these rare minting errors or a coin in near-perfect condition, you could be holding on to something truly special. And, when you combine rarity with historical significance, you get a coin that is highly desirable in the world of numismatics. Over time, coins like the 1986 quarter have become more difficult to find, which only increases demand and drives up the price. Now, I know you're probably wondering just how much a 1986 quarter could actually be worth. Well, here it is, the big reveal. If you have a 1986 quarter in mint condition, or even better, one with a rare minting error, you could be sitting on a coin worth $60,000, yes, you heard that correctly, $60,000 for a single 1986 quarter. It's incredible to think that something as simple as a quarter could hold so much value. But when you factor in condition, rarity, and potential minting mistakes, it becomes clear why these coins are in high demand. So, the next time you come across a 1986 quarter, take a moment to inspect it closely. You just might have a rare treasure on your hands. Top 6, we've got something truly interesting to talk about, the 1990 United States quarter dollar. Now, before you write this off as just another average coin, think again. This little quarter could be worth far more than you might expect. Stick around because we're about to break down why this 1990 quarter is more than just pocket change and how it could be worth thousands of dollars. You don't want to miss this. Let's rewind to 1990. It was a year of significant change in the United States, an election year, a period of economic recovery after the early 80s recession, and a time when people were starting to feel a sense of stability again. Meanwhile, the U.S. Mint was busy producing quarters as part of its regular circulation. The 1990 quarter was no different in terms of design, featuring George Washington's portrait on the front, and the iconic eagle on the back. But while millions of these quarters were made, there are some important details that set certain 1990 quarters apart from the rest. What makes the 1990 quarter interesting for collectors is that it comes from a time when the U.S. Mint was still in the process of improving its production techniques. Over time, coin quality has fluctuated, and the coins minted in certain years have had their own quirks. The 1990 quarter, while not a commemorative issue or part of a special set, can still be quite valuable, especially if you find one in exceptional condition. Most coins from this era were heavily circulated, so spotting one in mint condition is a rare find that many collectors would be thrilled to add to their collection. Now, let's talk about the condition of the coin, because that's where the value really starts to shine. Coins that have been used in everyday transactions typically show wear, scratches, nicks, and the inevitable signs of age. But if you're lucky enough to come across a 1990 quarter that looks like it was freshly minted, free of blemishes, and with sharp, clear details, you've got something special on your hands. These pristine, uncirculated coins are what collectors are constantly searching for, and they can command much higher prices than a coin that's been worn down by years of use. But there's more to this coin's potential than just its condition. Minting errors can also play a huge role in a coin's value. Whether it's a double die, a misprint, or an off-center strike, these errors are what make a coin rare and desirable. A 1990 quarter with a mistake like this could be worth far more than a standard, flawless coin. These error coins are incredibly sought after by collectors because they're unique, and owning one means you have a one-of-a-kind piece in your collection. So, what does this all add up to in terms of value? Let's get to the exciting part. If you happen to have a 1990 quarter that's either in flawless, uncirculated condition or has a rare minting error, you could be sitting on a small fortune. In fact, it could be worth a staggering $57,000. That's right, $57,000 for a single quarter. It's amazing how something so small can have such a high price tag attached to it, but that's the beauty of coin collecting. The right combination of rarity, condition, and unique features can turn a regular coin into a true treasure. So, the next time you're going through your change or sifting through your coin collection, don't overlook that 1990 quarter. Take a closer look, and you might just find a valuable piece of history that could be worth more than you imagined. Top 7, we are diving into the 1983 United States quarter dollar. You might think, another quarter? What's so special about that? Well, it turns out this seemingly ordinary coin might be worth a whole lot more than its face value. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why the 1983 quarter is one to watch. Let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. The year is 1983. It's the middle of the Reagan administration, and the United States economy is bouncing back from the early 80s recession. Meanwhile, the U.S. Mint was busy producing quarters for circulation, featuring the same design that had been in place for decades, George Washington's likeness on the obverse, and an eagle on the reverse. These coins were being used by Americans for everyday transactions, and millions of them were minted that year. But as you'll see, not all 1983 quarters are created equal, and some have turned into rare and highly valuable coins. The first thing that makes the 1983 quarter special is its rarity, but not in the usual sense. Most of these quarters were used for regular purchases, meaning they quickly fell victim to the wear and tear of daily life. A scratched-up, worn-down quarter is no surprise, but the real value lies in finding a quarter that has remained in exceptional condition. Coins that were properly stored or kept in mint condition back then are now worth much more. And finding one of these pristine 1983 quarters is no easy task, but here's where things get even more interesting. As with many other coins, there's always the possibility of minting errors. The 1983 quarter, while not part of a special series or commemorative set, did see some small mistakes during the production process. These errors, whether it's a double die, a misalignment, or even a mint mark mistake, can make a coin far more valuable. For collectors, these minting errors are like hidden gems that could make a seemingly ordinary coin worth far more than you'd expect. For instance, a 1983 quarter with an off-center strike or a double die error could be worth a fortune. These errors happen when the coin doesn't get fully stamped, leaving behind a unique design flaw that can't be replicated. And let's be honest, who doesn't want a rare, one-of-a-kind coin in their collection? These kinds of coins can go for much more than their regular counterparts, and some can even fetch tens of thousands of dollars. Now, let's talk numbers, because I know you're all dying to know just how much a 1983 quarter could actually be worth. If you happen to have a 1983 quarter in perfect, uncirculated condition, or even one with a rare minting error, you could be holding onto a coin worth a jaw-dropping $51,000. Yes, you heard that right. $51,000 for a single quarter. It's incredible how much value can be tied to a coin that was once just pocket change. But that's the magic of numismatics, the world of coin collecting. With the right condition, rarity, and unique features, even the most ordinary-looking coins can turn into highly valuable collectibles. So, what's the takeaway here? The next time you come across a 1983 quarter, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. It could be worth far more than you think. And if you've got a collection of old coins lying around, it might be time to dig through them and see if you've got a hidden treasure in your midst. Top 8. We're diving into a coin that may have slipped under your radar, the 1995 United States quarter dollar. It might look like just another quarter, but believe me, this coin has a few surprises that could leave you with a serious payday. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why the 1995 quarter is more valuable than you think. Let's take a quick look back to 1995. The world was buzzing with technological advancements. Think about the rise of the internet, the launch of Windows 95, and the start of what would be known as the dot-com boom. But while these big changes were happening, the U.S. Mint was also cranking out quarters with the usual George Washington design. Little did they know, these quarters would later become valuable collector's items, especially the ones that escaped the normal wear and tear of everyday circulation. The 1995 quarter features the traditional design that has been a hallmark of U.S. quarters since 1932, George Washington on the front, and an eagle on the back. These quarters were minted in massive quantities, with millions being made for circulation. Most of them were spent and used up, with the wear and tear you'd expect from a coin that's been in people's pockets for years. But here's the catch: finding a 1995 quarter in mint, uncirculated condition is very rare. As more time passes, these well-preserved examples become even more sought after by collectors. Coins from the mid-90s weren't exactly known for being made with the highest precision. The US Mint was in the middle of a huge production boom, which meant that while they were turning out plenty of quarters, not all of them were flawless. That's where the value starts to shine. Coins from this era that have survived in pristine condition are worth far more than their face value. Think about it. If you find a 1995 quarter that looks like it was just minted yesterday, you've got yourself a real gem on your hands, but it doesn't end there. Like many other US coins, some 1995 quarters were struck with minting errors, things like off-center strikes, double dies, or incorrect lettering. These imperfections make a coin unique, and collectors absolutely love them. Minting errors are what set certain coins apart from the rest, and that's what makes them so valuable. Imagine owning a 1995 quarter with a rare error. It could skyrocket in price because it's something that no other coin can replicate. What's really exciting about the 1995 quarter is that the error coins aren't as common as you might think. While a minting error might seem like a small flaw, it's actually a big deal in the world of coin collecting. These mistakes happen rarely, and when they do, they create coins that are truly one of a kind. So, if you happen to have a 1995 quarter with a unique feature or flaw, you could be holding onto a coin that will stand out in any collection. Now, let's talk about the numbers. You're probably wondering just how much this 1995 quarter could actually be worth, and I've got some exciting news for you. If you've got one of these quarters in uncirculated condition, or even one with a rare minting error, you could be looking at a value of $55,000, yes, that's right, $55,000 for a single quarter. It's amazing to think that a coin you might have overlooked could actually hold such a high value. So, before you toss that 1995 quarter into your jar of loose change, take a moment to inspect it. It might just be the rare find you've been waiting for. Top 9. We're diving into a classic piece of American coinage, the 1967 United States quarter dollar. At first glance, this might seem like just another coin from the past, but trust me, this quarter has a fascinating story and, believe it or not, could be worth a whole lot more than you think. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this 1967 quarter could be a serious money maker. Let's travel back in time to 1967. It was a year of social change and political unrest in the United States, with major movements pushing for civil rights, anti-war protests, and the beginnings of a cultural revolution. Meanwhile, the US Mint was busy creating coins that would later become part of America's numismatic history. The 1967 quarter, featuring George Washington's iconic profile on the front and an eagle on the back, was one of the many coins in circulation at the time. Now, most of these 1967 quarters were minted in large quantities, over 400 million to be exact. These were coins that were used day in and day out, passing through countless hands in countless transactions. It's no surprise that the vast majority of these coins show signs of wear and tear. But here's the catch: when you find a 1967 quarter that has been kept in pristine condition, it becomes a rare and valuable find. Coins from the 1960s, like the 1967 quarter, weren't always struck with the highest level of precision. A lot of them were subject to imperfections, whether it was because of the sheer volume being produced or due to minor issues in the minting process. But if you're lucky enough to come across a 1967 quarter that has been kept in uncirculated, near-perfect condition, you've got a collector's dream. Coins like these, free of scratches, scuffs, and other imperfections, can demand far more than their face value, but it doesn't end there. Minting errors make this coin even more intriguing. During production, mistakes happen. Maybe a coin was struck off-center, or a die was misaligned. These errors aren't something you see every day, and they can turn an ordinary coin into a unique collectible. A 1967 quarter with an error, such as a double die or a die crack, is something that collectors are absolutely thrilled to get their hands on. These mistakes aren't just defects, they're prized rarities, and the more unusual the error, the more valuable the coin becomes. Now, let's talk about the money side of things. If you happen to have a 1967 quarter in pristine condition, or even better, one with a minting error, the potential value could surprise you. Ready for this? A 1967 quarter could be worth an astonishing $93,000, yes, you heard that correctly, $93,000 for a single quarter. It's hard to believe, but that's the reality in the world of rare coins. This coin may look like a simple piece of history, but for the right collector, it's worth a small fortune. So, the next time you find a 1967 quarter, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. It could be the key to unlocking a treasure trove of value that you never imagined. And if you've got a coin collection gathering dust somewhere, it might be time to take another peek. Your next big find could be closer than you think. Top 10, and this last video is going to get your heart racing. We're talking about a coin that might look pretty ordinary at first glance, but could be worth a small fortune, the 1972 United States quarter dollar. Yes, you heard that right. This seemingly simple quarter might be more valuable than you ever imagined. Stick with me until the end, and I'll reveal exactly why this 1972 quarter might just be your next big find. Let's take a quick trip back to 1972. It was a year of change in the United States, as the country was in the midst of a politically charged time. Richard Nixon was in the White House, and America was dealing with everything from the fallout of the Vietnam War to the beginnings of the Watergate scandal. While all this was happening, the U.S. Mint was producing coins that would become key pieces in America's numismatic history, including the 1972 quarter. This quarter, which features the familiar portrait of George Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse, was part of the regular circulation, which means millions of them were minted that year. However, not all 1972 quarters are created equal. In fact, if you take a closer look, you'll see that some of these quarters have something truly special about them, something that could make them worth far more than their face value. The key to unlocking the value of this coin lies in its rarity, its condition, and the potential for minting errors that can make these coins stand out. Let's start with condition. Like many coins from this era, the 1972 quarter was widely circulated. These quarters traveled across the country, being spent and reused over and over again. Over time, most of them showed the typical signs of wear, scratches, dings, and fading details. However, if you happen to find one that has been kept in perfect, uncirculated condition, you're looking at a valuable find. These well-preserved quarters, free from the wear and tear of everyday life, are highly sought after by collectors. The sharper the details, the higher the value, so a 1972 quarter that looks like it was minted yesterday could fetch much more than its face value. But what about those minting errors we always talk about? That's where things get really exciting. Coins with mistakes, whether it's a double die, an off-center strike, or even a flawed design, are what collectors go wild for. The 1972 quarter is no exception. In fact, there were some notable errors produced that year, making certain quarters worth far more than you'd expect. A double die error, where the image on the coin appears to be doubled because of an issue with the die, is one of the most popular errors collectors look for. These error coins are a real treasure, and the rarer the error, the more money the coin can fetch. Now, you're probably wondering just how much a 1972 quarter can really be worth. If you happen to find one in uncirculated condition, or even better, one with a rare minting error, you could be holding onto a coin worth an eye-popping $83,000. Yes, you read that right, $83,000 for a single quarter. That's the incredible thing about coin collecting. Even coins that were once in your pocket change have the potential to become valuable, rare collectibles over time. So, before you pass off that 1972 quarter as just another piece of pocket change, take a closer look. It could very well be worth a lot more than you think. Thanks for watching. If you found this video exciting and informative, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on any of our future coin discoveries. Who knows, your next rare find might be hiding right under your nose. Keep collecting, and happy hunting.